Hi everyone, I'm Britt and I'm joined by Bailey, and we're going to be doing a reaction video for season 1 episode 5 of For All Mankind, which is an amazing show. We love to watch it, and I hope you'll enjoy our reaction video. And thanks Bailey for joining.
Of course, I got my moon buddy. I'm ready to watch Into the Abyss.
Woo! Moon buddy. All right, here we go.
How come everything's about her?
Because she's a novelty, you know? First woman astronaut.
Don't love the word novelty. No.
Ooh, that's a thing.
So okay, Karen gets better as like time goes on.
Some kids at school say there's no water on the moon and your mission is a joke. But I believe in you, and I know you will find it. Your friend, Abigail.
Spoiler alert, there's tons of water on the moon. Tons of it.
Bailey, you might know the answer to this. Like back in like the Apollo era, like we really had no idea. Did we even have like suspicions of it? I mean, I guess probably suspicions, but
Yeah, it was definitely theorized. When it was proven in like the 70s or so, and we finally got there and got water, you know, much later.
So where is it?
To the South Pole, Shackleton Crater.
I love how well researched this show is.
It is a Shackleton crater, yes!
Shackleton!
After your survey, it could be 500 times better.
Well, then I strongly suggest you folks rethink this. We didn't come all this way just to dig a bunch of dry holes.
Also, this is making it seem like there's just like water, like pools of water, and they like dig a
I know,
hole and a
yeah.
fountain
It's
pops
a
up.
little
That's
more
not how it works.
complicated. But you know, you gotta love Hollywood, right? So
We flew over Shackleton in the first place just to get data they're all crowing about.
You on board with this?
Changing a landing site mid-flight? It's dangerous and stupid. I love it.
oh no.
Of course.
I don't know if that's like the best line, but that might have maybe he should have reworked that one, but it's okay. We'll forgive it.
I guess, like, knowing old school NASA too, they probably would just be like, nah, go to Shackleton, it'll be fine.
Look, if it were just me, give me the dice. But if we auger in, it won't be Baldwin screwed the pooch. It'll be women can't hack it in space.
And what do you think they'll say if we come home empty-handed?
And what the press has been saying all
Very
along,
true.
that this mission is just a publicity stunt.
Exactly.
Also a good point though.
Endeavour, Houston. We've reconsidered a Shackleton landing. Flight Dynamics has a DOI burn that'll take it down there, but we do not know what kind of landing site you will find.
But it's true, like, before Apollo 11, they didn't know what would happen if they landed in the regolith. They didn't know if they were going to, like, sink 12 feet or, like, if it was, like, quicksand. They don't know a lot about Shackleton either.
Seahawk is now 8 minutes away from a dangerous landing in uncharted terrain.
I don't know if I would actually want my children watching.
Yeah, I mean, that's something they talk about, right?
Yeah.
Like, a whole lot of
Yes, you did.
hopelessness feelings.
Yeah.
That'd be hard. I feel like the right stuff, right? Like, they talk about how the astronauts had the right stuff, and we've talked about it, it's like toxic right stuff, like, so, like, but I feel like the families probably had to have it too, right? Like, the wives had to just pretend like everything's fine, the kids had to just...
I mean, I feel like there was a lot of emotion repression happening on all fronts. There just had to be. Also, I think it would just be the fact that you're like the first person to like go down there. You know what I mean?
You don't know what's down there? That could be like the monster from Star
The
Wars.
Sarlacc?
Like,
Yeah.
You don't know? Yeah, you don't know.
Wow, that would be a real plot twist.
That is very heroic though, because she just got
Yeah.
one.
Oh, the music. It's like Halloween space vibes. There it is.
Oh, God.
I mean, regardless of what it is, it's pretty cool. So that's a win.
But like, never risk the O2. Like, once you're on O2, there's nothing, you know you're gonna die, right? Like, you can't. I'm glad she did it, but no, you don't do that.
Water on the moon. NASA's dangerous gamble seems to have paid off. Shackleton Crater may well be the site of America's first lunar base.
Water on the moon. I would love if they had proved that back then.
Oh, gosh, that would have really changed history for sure. I'm not sure if it would have been a good or a bad way back then. I can't decide, but hopefully in a good way. We'll never know.
Well, let's watch and see. All right, but it's a good picture. I'll give her that. I would go in the history books for sure.
Yeah.
What is this?
It is the habitation module.
I was gonna say, because that's not the lander. Oh my god! I'm just gonna say it. It looks a lot like the Dianetics design. I'm just gonna say it.
Look at those ejectoplumes.
Yeah, they should really get a lily pad.
Touchdown confirmed. Copy that, Fido. Jamestown base has landed on the edge of Shackleton Crater.
I hate that they called it Jamestown base, though. Okay, I just have to say that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, 1973.
At least I have like full faith NASA won't make that mistake again, though.
I don't think they will. I think
I think at this point they're like, okay, we understand naming is important. It's something we should pay more attention to. But anyway.
Like I said, that episode had a lot of cringy moments. There was a lot of tension there. There was a lot of like.
I was like, whew, okay. I was like getting a little heated there because it was a big episode. It was a big one.
Yeah.
It's my favorite one so far, actually.
I think I really like it because they did a good job with the water on the moon. So for those of you that don't know, Britt and I met at our space resources program where we basically studied water on the moon. And so like the fact that like this show captured it accurately, and they actually kind of showed the importance of it. Like people watching this from here on out, if Britt and I were to go, hey, we need to go to the moon because there's water on the moon, they're going to be like, oh, I get why, because they explained it well and everything like that. Like, it's a huge deal.
That's a really great point. I don't think I'd really thought of it that way. But yeah, you're right. Because I think a lot, like, when we started, because I think we started around the same time. But it was like 2018 for me anyway. But like, yeah, I mean, when I started the program, it was like, people really had no idea what I was talking about when I told them like what we were studying, and they had no idea what space resources were or anything like that. But you're right. If people watch this show, I feel like now it would be much easier for them to understand. So,
and the same thing happened with The Expanse. Like people suddenly understood asteroid mining. Yeah. Like they were like, oh, this is something that like. That's one of the coolest things about this stuff is it's explaining it to the masses, which is so valuable.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a really good point. And I feel like these shows are so entertaining that it's like you don't have to like have an interest in space beforehand to still be like very entertained by this. So yeah,
for sure. We're slowly getting into the normal conversation of like we should go to space.
Yeah, but no, I agree. I like really love that this show, it feels like they did their research, feels like they did their homework. I actually wonder like they obviously talked to somebody who knows a lot about like space resources and like lunar mining.
It wasn't me. I'm offended, but whatever.
Okay, the next season, I can see that. Apple, call up Bailey. Yeah. You know,
we actually should, if we can, we should try to figure out who they talk to and like see if we could get them to come on or something like that.
That would be really fun. Yeah, because like I mean, it's just it had to have been, and I know that there's like exchanges and networks where people from the science community will talk to people from like Hollywood. So I feel like there had to be definitely some like overlap there at some point. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this show is like, I feel like it's very ahead of its time too, because the season came out in 2019. So I mean, like it's a really good show. I feel like it's a good show when like it kind of is a bit foretelling of like what's going to be happening in the future,
They did their research.
Yes, yeah. No, so it was really good. So anyway, well, okay, any other closing thoughts on this episode? I love Wayne, so like I'm just gonna say it, like I'm a big Wayne fan. I'm a big Molly fan, but I definitely was like, oof, this was a little risky.
I would say with Molly, and she's supposed to represent Jerry Cobb, right? And I think in general, this is a really good example of, first of all, like she kind of got to where she was because she played like one of the guys. You know what I mean? Like she kind of showed that she had that tough outer shell that is the right stuff. And I think that's kind of, they did a good job of showing that it's like, it wasn't just like women were suddenly accepted exactly who they as they were and stuff like that. Like they still had to put on this shell. And I think it's an interesting transition as we move into modern day, because I think a lot of us younger women in STEM kind of feel the heat from that a little bit still, because a lot of us are like, we don't feel the need to be like that because there's so many of us and we're bonded. But a lot of the older women in STEM kind of have this like earn your right here, tough outer shell thing. So I think they did a good job in that.
Yeah. Well, and it begs the question, like, yeah, I mean, if it was Ed, he probably would have done the same thing. So yeah.
And would you have cringed as much if he had said, "Oh well," knowing you,
Yeah.
yes, like right, like we've been cringing at everything that they've been saying, but in general, like if a guy said,
Yeah, he'd probably.
Would it have been as shocking or whatever?
Well, and I think this is the thing. It's like we as a society love like this like hero storyline, right? You know, so I think that's just also kind of part of it too, where it's like, you know, people that play it safe, I guess, probably don't get featured as prominently in media anyway. So, but that's okay. It's also a good idea to like play it safe and go about your mission like the proper way. Like I will say that is one thing. Like I wonder if NASA actually gets a little bit annoyed sometimes with like how much it's portrayed like these really risky things, where like, you know, that scene at the end of The Martian where like Jessica Chastain's character like jumps out and like grabs him or something like that, and I'm like,
No.
I'm like, that would not happen, you know what I mean? And so that's the thing, is like, I don't know, I wonder if that actually makes it a little bit tougher for NASA, because then they feel like they're not, it's like not as cool, right? Because they're kind of more calculated risk. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think that is an interesting point, that a lot of this stuff, like, and yeah, like, so actually I was just talking about with this group that I need to research it more, but apparently Skylab 4 went on strike, like just like turned off mission control, like they were like, because there was like tension there between them and stuff. And I feel like, but that's like the only time you hear of that happening. Other than that, I mean, honestly, you'd be really dumb to go against mission control when you're that far away from Earth, right? Like at the end of the day, you might have your crew on the ship, but you also have, you know, mission control is part of your crew, and that's still part of the crew dynamic, and you still have to trust them. They're the ones keeping you alive, right? Like, you have to trust that they know best and not do, as great of a storyline as it was, Molly can't be doing that. Like, at the end of the day.
I hear you. I'm excited to see where the rest of the season goes. I feel like this was like a major pivot point.
There's water on the moon. Let's see where we go next. Yeah.
And I will just say this as a little teaser for the next episode, but where there is water, there is also perhaps conflict. So
dun dun dun.
Thank you everyone for joining us for season 1 episode 5, and we will be back soon with our reactions to season 1 episode 6 of For All Mankind. And if you haven't tuned into this show already, you definitely should, because it's amazing and we love it. But we also love to chat about it. So anyway, thanks for joining us, and thanks Bailey for coming on.
Yeah, of course. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.